Welcome to East Tennessee Pinball. Today I'm going to work through a whole bunch of Bally, classic Bally displays. I've got, sitting over here, I've got two boxes. I'll show you in a second. It must be, I don't know, 30 or 40. I probably got about that many in the back. I don't know how many I'm going to get through today, but I'm going to go through a bunch of them and show you how I go about fixing them, sorting them. Some of them will be dead and I'll throw in the trash, or maybe scavenge a few parts. If the gas is gone, they're no good. Anyway, let's fire this baby off. So I've got these two big boxes of old classic Ballys. Some are 6 digits, some are 7 digits. I'm sure some are probably working and some are probably dead. So the first thing that I like to do before I spend any time monkeying with them is just a quick check to see if there's any gas inside. So there's some kind of gas in here. I don't know exactly what it's made of. But anyway, if that gas leaks out, these displays will never work again. I mean, you could harvest some of the components off the back if you want, but if the gas is gone, the display won't work. One quick, simple way is using one of these little toy plasma balls. If you hold it up there, if this glows, and it is, see, it's glowing, and also, like, if I touch the back of it, it makes it glow even more. See how that works? It's kind of weird. I'm just touching the glass, not touching any electronics. So that one's got the gas in it. So that is a candidate for repair. In fact, it might work 100%. I don't know. I haven't done anything with these yet. The other thing I've got here is one of these little tester boards. So you can I'll put the link for this. You can purchase these things, and basically it's a little driver to drive this board. You can do the same thing by just plugging this machine into the game to see if it's working and test on it, but if you're doing a whole bunch like I'm doing, it's just easier to do it all on the bench. So likewise, this plasma ball, if you don't have a plasma ball, if you just plug it in the machine, turn it on, you'll see a little orange dot glowing on the bottom here. And that's even if the display is not working, even if the game's not booting up, as long as you've got the high voltage being delivered, the 185 or 180 volts, whatever, being delivered to this thing, you'll see the little orange dot in the bottom here. And if that orange dot's glowing, that means this display has gas in it, and it could be salvaged, or it might be 100%. So that one's good. That one's going to go in the good pile. So real quick, well, not super quick, I got a bunch of them. I'm going to go through all the displays and see how many of them. Find another one maybe that doesn't glow. I'm actually hoping they all glow because, you know, if they glow, it's money. If they don't, see that one, this is an interesting one. So this one doesn't glow where I'm touching it, but where my finger's on the back, it does glow. So this one, I don't know exactly why that is. My suspicion is this one doesn't have a full charge of gas, but it's got, like, I don't know, some percentage. But this one will still work. And actually, when you plug them in the machine, when they're like this, you can't tell the difference between something like this and like this. But my suspicion is some of the gas is leaked out. But, you know, how much longer is it going to work? Another 5 years, another 10 years, another 20 years? I don't know. But it's going in the good pile. It's glowing, and look. So this one's glowing. Now this one, let me show you this one. So this one has all these little black dots on there. Those are burn marks. And so this one will never look good. Those black marks are going to like glow super, super red or orange, and or not glow at all. And so this one, I'm going to put that in kind of a mediocre pile here. I don't even really know. So this one might be decent for a player 4 game or a player 4 position, but it's not ever going to look very nice. But it could work. And that one's glowing. I was hoping to have some of them that don't work. Not really, but it'd be nice to have one not work just so I can show you. Yeah, these are all working. Wow. Yeah, you see that? I bought these at the auction. It's 30 bucks. I got this whole box for 30 bucks. So they're like $1 a piece. And one of the better deals I've ever got at the auction. And that one's good. By the way, when you're holding them up there, if you put your fingers on some of these, I mean, it's not really putting the voltage in here, but well, I guess it is. It will, I don't know, it's less of a shock, but almost like a little bit of a burn. If you hold these things the right way when you're doing that, you'll feel it, and it's not very pleasant. So kind of keep your fingers off the electrodes. So, wow, I'm lucking out here. Okay, here's another one where it's got real bad burn marks all over it, but it did glow. Somebody may have already screened these because they're all, every single one's glowing. Okay, there's a dead one. There's no glow at all. Even if I try to touch the back of it really well, it's just nothing. So that's dead. That one will never work. So it's junk. And really, in terms of the salvaging the parts, there's really not much on here that's very valuable. All these little transistors in here, you can buy all those new and they're not very expensive. And I mean, if you're in a pinch and you got one and you just want to steal one off one so you don't have to order them, that's fine. But if you're going to be working on a bunch of them, it's almost better just to order them, and then they're nice and clean. You know they're going to be good. There's that chip there. I believe that chip is still available too. Again, it's almost better just if you're going to be working on these much, just buy one. That way you don't have to desolder it. So there's not too much value of one of these. If the glass is bad, it's pretty much trash. Now this one says bad, but it's glowing. So what's bad to somebody else may not be bad to me. It could be like a digit's out and or a segment's out, and we can usually fix those kind of things. This one says bad, and that's got the same penmanship, so that was the same person. Maybe I'll save some of these bad ones because those would be interesting ones to work through. So they've probably got some significant problem, but see, there's another one that's dead. So I'm gonna just, maybe I'll put you on the camera and we'll do this real fast. All right, so I got them all screened. Those didn't glow, so there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 that didn't glow at all. I think these two are in the same pile. 13, yeah, 15, 14, that was dead also, yeah. So 15 didn't glow. There was 3 that looked good from the first test anyway, that are labeled bad, so I just kind of set those separate pile. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that glowed but have some, well, that's got a lot of burn. So all these have some, are kind of in the burn pile. Not too burn, but they have burn. And this one is weird. This one's got this frame and I couldn't really touch it, so I don't, oh, I did see it glow there. I see a little tiny glow. I thought I maybe did, but the way the frame is, it's weird. It's got a metal bracket, so I've never seen a bracket like this. But anyway, so that one's also good. So all the rest of these glowed and did not have any burn, at least not much. I didn't see it, just with the superficial. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take all these off my desk here, and we'll start going through them, and I'll show the way I go through it. All right, so here's a little flow chart that I put together. I guess I could maybe post a link to this too, or I don't know, something. I'll put something down in the comments for if you want to download this. Anyway, so I actually didn't start at the start because I have that plasma ball. So this is more written for somebody that's using a machine to test their games. So the first step would be to resolder the header pins. So when I'm talking about the header pins, I'm talking about residing the back side of those pins right there, like this one. And this was the first one I pulled out, but it's a very good example. Let me zoom in, and these pins here are completely separated. So that's probably the ground, I believe. It's on the perimeter of the board. I bet it is. Anyway, those two are completely gone. So if you stick this in the machine, it might not glow only because it's not getting 180 volts. So you should resolder the header pins first, and then does the gap glass glow? So normally you'd be using the machine. I'm using the plasma ball, so I'm doing this backwards because if they don't have gas in them, I don't want to waste my time resoldering them. So that's the way I did it. Okay, so next you want to isolate to just a single bad display after the solder paper. Well, I'm going to go ahead and resolder this real quick. We'll keep going through the flowchart. All right, so we're just going to go through this. Like this one's completely separated right here. And if you want to do this even better than what I'm doing it, you can add a little solder, heat it up, take all that solder off, and then put on all new fresh solder. I am not going to go that route. It's just a lot of extra time. And this will be, maybe this is the 5 or 10 year plan. The other one would be the 20-year plan. I don't know. These in the center, you know, like these right here don't absolutely need it, but because they're not broken, at least you can, well, that one there was actually. I just go ahead and resolder them all. Doesn't take that long. And when you're trying to diagnose it, you want to make sure at least you've got all the power and signals getting to the board. Just roll out the simple stuff. All right, so we're done with that. Okay, so we've resoldered the header pins. Does the glass glow? Yes. So we're going to isolate to a single bad display. So that's just meaning if you're using a game, you want to just unplug all the displays except for the one that you're working on, because sometimes, depending on what's going on, one bad display will cause crazy weird stuff to happen on the other one. So just a good practice to just be working with one display at a time. Just rule out these other things that could be causing you problems. So next thing I'm going to do, or if you're working on your game, plug it into your game and boot up the game. And the first question it asks is one or more digit too bright. So I'm going to, instead of plugging it into the game, I'm going to use my little board tester here, and I'm going to plug it into that. It essentially does the same thing as the game. It just supplies power and a signal. Let me put you on the stand so I can have both hands. So I've got the board plugged in, and I look at it, and we are missing a digit. So that's not the answer to the question, but that's we'll just jump ahead a little bit. That's generally a resistor, one of these 100K. That would be R1, R3, R5, R7, R9, R11. So that would be our resistor 3. 100K is probably the problem. Not for sure, but if I was betting, that's what I'd bet on. But anyway, let's go back to our flowchart. So I've got the, can you see my multi? Yeah, you see that. Okay. So there's 1, 3, 5. So it's our second digit. So it's that 3 one that we're worried about. And then there's 7, 9, 11. So these should all be 100K. 99, that's close enough. This is one that we're worried about. It's 101, looks good. They also don't look burnt. Usually if they're bad, they're burnt up. So these are all looking 105, 4, 99. So I think I probably lost my bet. So that one appears to be good. I'm going to check it just in the back. It looks good. But just to make sure, because I was checking on the wires, make sure it's making it to the board. It's that one there. And it's 100K. So that's good. So let's go to our, let me pull up schematics and show you the schematics on these things. So here's my schematics. That's unit, or the 1's digit, the 10's digit, and this is one we were working about. worrying about. There's R3. That's one that I initially suspected was bad. These, if you get a digit out, always check the resistor first, because 90% of the time that'll be the problem. That wasn't the problem. So the next thing to check are both of these transistors. So that's the pre-transistor and that's the transistor. So Q2 and Q8. So we'll find those on the board and do a diode check on those and see if they look like all the others. So here is Q2, so it's the second one in. So I was right the first time, so that's the second one in. There's Q2, and the second one in back here is Q8. So these are the two. Either one of these failing would cause the symptoms we're seeing. So first thing I'm going to do is and by the way, I think one of these is an NPN and one is a PNP, but without worrying about what they are, I'm just going to. Okay, so it's 0.6 that way. Okay, so putting the red on the bottom and both tops is 0.66, and that's a good one. Let's check this one. 0.66. Looking a little bad. We may have found our culprit. So let's check these at the top. Yeah, I think these are going to be they're the PNP instead of the NPN, or vice versa, so they're backwards. So that's 0.679, 0.67. Check this one. 0.66, 0.65. So looks like this one is our bad puppy, and so I'm gonna swap it out, and hopefully that'll fix the problem. Here's that Q2 that we found that tested bad, and that is a where is it? MPS A42. I got a bag of them here. Those are the NPNs. So I'm gonna throw this in the board real quick. Fortunately, Bally is real nice. They got a picture, so you don't have to worry about which way they're going. Just gotta pre-bend these out a little bit so they fit in the holes. Alright, so this thing is loose. I usually just super glue these back on. They were originally just taped there, and the tape comes off, so I just glue them. So let me plug this thing back in real quick. I'm gonna turn it off real quick so I don't shock myself. Turn it on, and hopefully we've got, be careful where you grab it because you've got 180 volts running around, and the digit's working. So unfortunately this board doesn't have a way to just flash 8s. I wish it did, because you want to see the 8s. Okay, they're all going 8s. I saw all of them, I believe. While I've got this out, I'm just going to put a little super glue on here and throw this back on. There is a front and a back. They only go one way. There we go. And I might just briefly dip this in the ultrasonic. They're just filthy. Doesn't really matter because you only will see the front of it, and you can clean the front with some Windex or something. But I may dunk these for a little bit. This one's definitely getting a dunking. It's got the Dirt Dauber Nest 3000 on there. I didn't really, oh yeah, it's also got the burn pile on it. Yeah, this one's definitely getting dunked. We'll save this one for later. So putting electrical components in an ultrasonic is generally not the greatest of ideas, but these things are so nasty, and I'm gonna go ahead and do it before I spend a lot of time working on them because it's just easier to work on them if they're a little cleaner. But I'm not gonna run it for very long, just like 5 or 10 seconds, and that's probably got it pretty clean right there. Yeah, I mean, it's 90%. I need to put a little more water in there so I can get at the whole top. I think I'll do that right now. So next one up, I've got one of these that's labeled bad. And so one thing, you got these like kind of phantom marks. It's almost like burns, but it doesn't show any burn. We're also missing the ones digit. And I'm doing this before. I'm not following my own advice. I have not resoldered the headers yet because that might fix some of this. So just kind of show you how that can affect things. So first thing I'm gonna do is resolder the headers, and see if that alleviates any of the problems. All right, so I just resoldered all those header pins. I'm gonna replug this thing back in. I can, one-handed. I gotta put you on the stand. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Just have to wait for a second for it to go through its cycle. Well, those digits, I still got those little twinkles. It does have twinkles in this digit, which is kind of interesting, but that digit's still dead. So that didn't really do any, there were some bad solder joints, so those are fixed, but it didn't change the behavior. So let's check. First off, the question is, do we have a digit that's brighter than the rest? No, we don't. So the next thing is a digit missing? Yes, the ones digit. So first thing we're going to check is that resistor, so that would be R1. So we'll find that. And depending, the boards, they've made a whole bunch of different versions of this board, so oh, this one is exactly the same. Okay, so R1's right there, and right away, it's a little discolored, but not horrible looking. We'll see, put it on resistance, we'll see what it looks like. 126, wow, that's way out of spec. Check some of these others. And to be fair, they're commonly out of spec, so like those are both way out of spec too. So they're all too high. It's supposed to be 100 and they're all 120-ish. So that's probably not it. So that would be, last one was Q2, so this is going to be Q1 or, oh my gosh, okay, I see the problem. Huh! We're missing it. Can you see that? We're missing that transistor. It's completely gone. Yeah, that would cause the digit to be missing, not work. Yeah. Huh. So let's put that in first. Somebody's taken it out. So probably somebody was trying to figure out what was wrong with this board and working on it, and I don't know. So that may not fix our problem. It could be this one. Just while we're here, no, I'm not on the screen. Somebody was obviously working, trying to fix this board, I'm guessing. Either that or they stole a digit out of it, or they just needed one and they stole it from this board. That's possible. I just want to check real quick and see if that one is. So that's 0.69, 0.6. Okay, let's check this one, see if it's the same. Oh, it'd help if I was on diode test. 66, 66, 66, and 66. So that's good. So let's get a Q7 and stick it in there. So the ones digit, a Q7 is right there. So we slide across. That's the 2N5401. So I've got a bag of those right here. And I'll grab one and we'll stick it in. Alright, so I got my little transistor kind of bent up. Fish it in a hole. And we'll solder it down real quick. My iron's cold, hold on. That's one of those deals, you could have taken an eyeball test and just looked at it too. Alright, so let me plug this power supply back in, and it's actually plugged in, so I'm gonna be a little careful. See, I bet it doesn't fix it. Oh, it did. It did. Oh, you can't see it all. There you go. Oh, we got a segment 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, wait. Something's not right. Something's screwy. Some of these digits are segment. So that segment's locked on all the time. 8, 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so this is an interesting one. So that segment driver for that leg is locked on. Okay, so that'll be an interesting one to fix. So that may be why it got bad, labeled bad, and then it was in the bad pile. So somebody needed that dude, and they just stole it. It became a parts board, but we're unparting it. So let's figure out which transistor drives that. So actually, let's just go to our schematics here, or not our schematics, but our. So we get the flow chart up here. So on this one, we had a digit missing. Was it missing? Check replace R1 through R11. That one was fine, so that wasn't a problem. Check replace Q1 through Q6. It was actually the Q7 through Q12 because that Q7 was gone. So we put that back in there. Now, is the digit missing? No. So we're on the next one. Is the same segment missing on all digits? I need to edit this and say missing or locked on. So I think I'll do that. So is it missing or locked on? Yes. Check replace corresponding Q13 through Q19. Those are the segment drivers. So let me open up the other window of the schematics. So the top half are the digits and the bottom half are the segments. So if you look in here, that's kind of a diagram. It's that segment F is our problem child. It's locked on. So we're going to find F, A, B, C, D. There's F. Scroll down, so it's Q18. I mean, it could be one of these resistors. It could be a bad solder joint anywhere, but I'm going to check Q18. I believe that's probably the problem. So we go over to our board. Let me unplug it and put you on the stand. So again, this middle row are all the segment drivers, and there's our Q18 right there. So I'm going to put this multimeter on. It's already on diode test. So I'm going to compare this one to some of these others adjacent to it. So again, I'm looking at like 0.4 to 0.7. I don't know which way to put them. I'm just putting one way, and so I get a reading 0.6 or like 0.63, 0.64. And I'm going to check the suspect one, 0.64, 0.65. That's actually good. Or it's measuring good. That's bad news for us, because if that was measuring bad, we'd feel good about replacing it. I will say this diode test, it's not a 100% test. It's like a 90% test. So that could still be bad. Another thing could be one of those resistors. But irregardless, I'm going to it's so easy to swap these. I'm going to swap that out real quick and see what that does for us. So I've got Q18 removed from the board. I'm going to come over here and look up the part number. That Q18 is right there. It's all like all these other ones. And it's a MPSA 42. Yeah, this little baggie right here. I'll grab one, throw it in. All right, so I replaced that little transistor on there. Yeah, that one right there. Even though it tested good with the diode test, it was bad because it's that digit there, that little segment right there, the F, is going on and off. And now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, oh. So it's good. We can scratch that bat off there and mark it good. So that's kind of weird there. I don't know what that is, but I don't think we'll have to check that in the game. But like when it's playing, just doing a number, it's fine. It's really only when it's completely blank. There's a little bit of noise back there. I've not seen that before, so I don't know what that is. If that's an artifact of the tester, I want to put it in a real game and see if that shows up. But if there's any digits, it's perfectly clean. So I'm just call this one a repair. All right, here's another one that's labeled bad. I'm going to plug it in, and I'm doing this wrong. I have not resoldered the headers. I'm just doing this so we can see everything. What's wrong with it now? Okay, we got a couple of different things. My gosh, okay. Well, no, all the digits are there. So, wait, that's the 8. Yeah, so that segment, that middle segment is gone. I think that's all that's wrong with it, is that middle segment. So all the digits are there. Nothing's too bright. All the digits are there, and we're missing that segment there. I think that's it. So let's find that segment on the schematics. So that segment is segment, I think that's a G, EFG, yes. So that's all the way at the very end. That's Q19. Oh, I've got to get it unplugged here. Houston, we have a problem. You see this? It's ripped right out of the board. That's probably the problem. You think? I may just resolder that in there. Well, somebody's already monkeyed with it a little bit. I don't know. I'll suck that solder out of there and reinsert and see if that alleviates our problems. If I can get it back in there. There we go. No problem. Kind of a good example, like a couple of these boards, you know, one of them was missing a and these may be SDRs, not transistors, I'm not sure. Either way, one was missing one, and this one, one of the legs is ripped off. So really, without knowing much about anything, I need to resolder these header pins real quick on this one. Without really knowing anything, a lot of this stuff can be fixed just using your eyeballs, just looking at the board and trying to find gross errors. And those are gross errors when the parts are missing or the parts are half ripped out of the board. I mean, just literally have to use your eyeballs. Somebody's already resoldered these, so they're not bad at all, but I've got it out, so I'm gonna just do it. Okay, so now we'll plug this dude in and see if we've got the juice. Yeah, that was it. Wait, we're still missing something, I think. Well, now we're missing it. Now we're just waiting for a board. Okay. I don't think I've got it plugged in all the way. I just got it barely tapped. I don't have it plugged quite far enough. We're missing all. There we go. That connector, by the way, let me back up a second. If you buy one of these drivers, it's basically got the female connector on the bottom down here, and you basically plug this directly into your board. But that little header there, the female header, is kind of fragile, and you're wrenching these to get in and out. So I basically put together this harness, because I had one of these before and I broke it pretty badly. So if you get one of these, you might consider getting some kind of a harness so between the board and the driver board and your display board. Okay, so let's look at this. I think we still have another issue here. And we're just waiting for it to come back to a cycle. There's 8s, 4. That one's, is that one missed? That digit there is out. Yes. Wait, it works with a 4. Oh, maybe I'm 6, 7. Oh, wait, that one is, it's locked on all the time, isn't it? That's my problem. Yeah. That's why it got yanked out. It didn't fall out. Somebody pulled it out. That was kind of a partial fix, I guess. So anyway, so we'll just go ahead and swap it, and hopefully that'll fix it. Turn it off. Okay, so I swapped out that Q19 with a brand new one, and wow, it's still locked on. That's weird. So we have something else. Yeah, that center segment is locked on all the time. So this is the one that's driving that center display, the Q19. I just swapped it out, so it's a brand new one, doing the same one thing as the old one. So this is not the problem. You got these 3 resistors right next to it, 25, 26, 27. You got these are all kind of like in parallel. Each one of these drives a different segment. So, and that's 23, 24. I don't know what that says. 23, probably 25, I guess. It doesn't look like a 5. 23, 24, 29. Okay. Yeah, 23, 24, 29, 25, 26, 28. So 25, 26, 28 are the ones right next to it. Let's see what else is involved. So you've got, it's 25, 26, and 27 are the 3 that are, that's all there is in the circuit. There's that transistor I just swapped, 25, 26, 27, and those should be just like 23, 24. Can't see what that says. 28. Okay. '23, 24, 28. So those 2 tan ones and that dark brown one go with this, and 25, 26. Those 2 tan ones there and that dark brown one there go with this. So I'm going to check those against one another. We can look at schematics to see what size they're supposed to be, either way, and see if anything is outside the realm. Okay, I'll check this one here. 1.5 against the good one here. And it's also 1.5. I'm a little off the screen there, but anyway, they were both 1.5. Check this tan one, light tan. 1.58, that's kilo ohms. Against this, the good one. Oh, 1.5, that's 280. That's not even in the same world. So what is it supposed to be? 26 and 24. So, zoom in a little bit. So there's 26 and 24. So it's the right leg of these. It's supposed to be a 300. And I got 1.5, so that's bad tuna. R26 is supposed to be 300, I think. Okay, so I swapped out R26. It looks a little different, but that's an R26 off one of the other Bally, one of the junk boards I had. I didn't have a 300K. I had everything but a 300K. But anyway, and it measures 300K, so let's plug it in and see what happens. It's still locked on. Well, actually, let's go back to the flowchart here. So we've got a problem with the digits. or the segments are, is the same segment on all digits messed up. It says missing, but we got one locked on. Same neighborhood. We've checked and replaced the corresponding Q1. The next thing is to check and replace the decoder chip. So let's go back and look at the schematics here real quick. So on this decoder chip, so the way this works is these are this D0 through D3. These are the digital signals coming in. They decode it and send signals to segments A through G. And so they're turning this on. So basically the way this thing is working, the digits are on. There's just strobing across. And this little thing here is if you're wanting to say, like, if you're going to have a score of, let's just say let's just say 1 0 0 0 0. So for the 1 digit here, you would have just B and C lit, and then for all the rest of them, you'd have A, B, C, D, E, F for all zeros. So it'd be 1 0 0 0 0 1, and this decoder chip is just flashing those as it's strobing across. So it could be the decoder chip is the G signal here is messed up. So that's basically, we've checked that. We've swapped it actually. We've checked the resistors. One of them was out of bounds pretty badly. Swapped it. So there's really the only thing left is this. If we wanted to, we could take the logic probe to it and see if that pin is strobing. I don't think I want to. I think I'd rather just swap it out. I think I've got some already desoldered, so I'll just pull that one out, put it in a socket, and see if that fixes it. All right, so I took out the old chip. It's laying around here somewhere. I think that's it there. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, put a socket in there, new chip, and so we're ready to fire this dude up. And hopefully this fixes it. Did not. It's weaker. Five, this 6, 7 will be off, should be. Wow, so wait, I'm confused now. So now we've got something else going on. This digit is locked on. Yeah. And that one's just dim. That's really weird. I don't think that was doing it a second ago. Okay, let's back up. Let's fix this one here. And maybe it's, I don't know. These locked on things, locked on digits, locked on segments, they're kind of, get them before the missing ones. So I'm gonna figure out which one that is there. So we'll go with schematics. We already fixed one of those on another board. That's the F, which is Q18. Okay, before I do anything else, I took out that chip that I just put in there, and this is not the one I pulled. Actually, it's a new set of some new pins. I just pulled it off this little pad, brand new one, and it was not working. And I pulled in its sister sitting right next to it, and that alleviated the problem. So that brand new chip I got, and these should be good ones. I mean, these were, I believe I bought these. They're in a Great Plains Electronics bag. I think I got these from Ed, and all his stuff is, he's retired now, but he didn't sell fake stuff. So maybe just a bad chip. Anyway, I thought it just like weird that all that stuff happened right when I swapped the chip out. So it was like, well, let's just, and I had it, and that's why you socket them. So that one's going in the trash. And so there's another one fixed. So this one's good now. We'll see what the next one brings us. So this is the last of the ones that were labeled bad. Kind of afraid whoever labeled these bad, they kind of monkeyed with them a little bit. Started pulling parts. Okay, now I'm already seeing stuff. Y'all can't see it. It looks. What is? It's strobing. Okay, so all the segments are there. These are looking clear. There's no burn. One of these digits was out. This one. Yeah, that digit's dead. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a 6-digit display. Let's run through it. Okay, we haven't resoldered our header pins. We should actually do that before we do anything else, because it could be one of those header pins causing that digit to go out. We should absolutely do that first. I wasn't doing that just for the sake of showing how messed up things were. Let's do that real quick, and maybe I'll fix it. All right, so I resoldered all the header pins, and we still got the digit out. So first thing we're going to check is so that's R1, R3, R5, R7, R9. So that's R9. We're going to check the resistance on that resistor. See what it looks like too. So this board's oriented a little bit differently. The first row of transistors is mixed up with the segment row. But in any case, we're looking for so there's R1, there's R3, R5, R7, R9's right there. Okay. So I am on resistance. Let's measure R7 first. We should have 100K, 114, R9. Nothing. So that's a bad resistor. We'll swap it out. That's almost for certain our problem. All right, so there's that new resistor in there, the 100K. Like I said before, if you're missing a digit, which is one of the most common things you're going to have wrong with these, 90% of the time it's the corresponding 100K resistor. And a lot of the times you'll be able to look at it and say, oh yeah, it's burnt. It'll just be burnt too. That one didn't really show any signs of stress. And so that's fixed it. So that's another good one. Yep, that's all good. So we've gone through this whole flow chart, except we haven't gone down here. There's a certain segment missing on only some digits. This doesn't happen very often, fortunately, because when it does, likely a bad electrical connection to the glass. Basically, it's something you're not going to be able to fix. So you're losing continuity probably inside of the glass. There could be something else, it could be something else, but it's probably not. So, maybe make it a player 4 display, because that segment's going to be missing on everything. So, everyone doesn't have to be perfect. And frankly, they make some great LED replacement displays, and it's great that they do. But for me personally, I like the plasmas. I like the fact that they're original. And even if they're not perfect, some things are better even when they're not perfect, even because you can tell they're not perfect. Plasmas are like that. Plasma displays are like that. So having a player 4 display with it's got a little twinkling or maybe a little bit of burn, I just think it makes the whole thing a little bit more authentic. I've got some more notes down here. We can go through them real quick. We talked about the first one. If using a plasma ball to excite the displays, resoldering can be done after cooling for bad glass. And that's what I did, because no point resoldering everything if it's going to be in the parts bin. So I've got, that was note A. I've got note B. Or it's one or more digit too bright. We didn't encounter that, but that happens sometimes where they'll be locked on a digit all the time, and they basically mess everything else up. So you got to fix that first. So just kind of gives you an example of that, of how to check it. So note 3, match display. We talked a little bit about that. So this is one if you're missing a digit and you ultimately can't figure out how to fix it. If you're lucky, it'll be unused or not important credit portion of a free play game. Yeah, something like that. And the last one I just talked about, you know, if you got a crappy one, stick it on player 4. You're probably not going to use it very much. So anyway, that's about all I've got for this video. If you like it as much as these two lazy mutts, click like and click subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.